Three constitutional amendments are also on the ballot, and we want to let you know what each one means. So here is the breakdown for you. House Resolution 164 is a bipartisan measure that would require the money gathered from taxes and fees to go toward its intended purpose. So that means those funds cannot be moved into the state's general fund unless there is a fiscal emergency. In that case, the governor could make a call to start moving money into the general fund. Then there's House Resolution 1023. This would make it legal for Georgia citizens to sue the state without government permission, which would go against a 2017 state Supreme Court ruling. And finally, House Bill 344. It was created with charities like Habitat for Humanity in mind. It would allow nonprofits to buy land and build on it without paying property taxes. Once the home is sold to a new owner, that person would begin paying property taxes. This is meant to encourage the creation of more low-income housing overall.